Hello, it's Taylor with more travel tips, and today I'm talking about money matters. And in particular, in this video, I want to talk about exchange rates. You're going to face exchange rates for the most part anywhere you travel outside the US, except for a few countries that still deal in US dollars as their currency. So if you're in Europe, you're dealing with the euro. If you're in South Africa, you're dealing with the rand. If you're in Morocco, you're dealing with the dirham. And you're going to need to change money. You're going to have some cash, as I've talked about. A little bit of cash, a lot of cash. You're going to need cash, and exchange rates are going to come into play. But here's what I want to say. When you get to a country, whatever country it is, please do exchange some money. You don't have to exchange all your money, but some say you can get around $50 or $100 at least to start with, because you might have a situation where you need cash and you need it right away. And if you don't change any, you may get yourself stuck or in a predicament. And I know airports traditionally have crappy exchange rates. They tend to, because they have a captive audience, right? So I know that's when you look at something and say, well, that's not what I saw on the internet. That's a little bit lower. But let's put it in perspective. Okay, let's say you're changing $100 in Morocco, and I'm going to talk about Morocco because that's what I know off the top of my head. The exchange rate is roughly 8.8 now per dollar, 8.8 dirhams. Let's say it's 8.6 at the airport. So you get 860 dirham for your $100. Let's say you go into town and you find an 8.8, which is about what it is. That would be 880 dirham. That's a 20 dirham difference, which comes out to a little bit more than $2 difference. So when you're thinking about exchange rates and trying to get the best rate, if you're not dealing in thousands of dollars, then really it's almost inconsequential. You have to weigh out, is it worth the time and effort to go searching around town, walking or driving or getting a cab to another place for what might be a small amount of money? So just consider that. Be familiar with what the exchange rate is. XE Currency is one of the websites I use to look at the rates, and they have a nice calculator on there, and know what the kind of going rate is. Then you can evaluate that when you're in a place, how much money you might want to change, how necessary it is to change money at that point. But at the airport, just get some money if you haven't been able to pre-order it from a bank in the United States before you travel. A lot of countries you cannot do that. Morocco you can't. I know Vietnam you can't. There are a lot of countries you can't do that. So these are just some ideas, but please don't get too wrapped up in what might amount to a few dollars, and the time that you're spending will cost you much more as far as enjoyment and frustration than those few dollars and the difference in the exchange rate. Okay, happy travels.